Welcome back. After our brief warning last time, the game has now officially stopped screwing around. We've got another escort mission here, and we're back in the Arrow. Flint is our wingman.
Bogies in sight.
This is the transport we're trying to protect.
Break and attack.
Taking it to him.
And the first wave of Kilrathi are 4 Darkets. This can normally be quite involved. The Darkets tend to go at least 3 of them after you, and you end up sort of flying a very evasive course, looping around to find which Darket is attacking you right now, shooting it, finding the next one, shooting that, and so on. While you're doing that, Flint tends to be left alone, and she will go through the Darkets very quickly, often ends up with 3 kills at the nav point. This time was a bit different, because one of the Darkets dove straight for me right at the start, and if they do that, you can let a missile go at about 4 clicks out, 4,000 clicks. And that missile will almost always hit, which will take the Darket out. Plus, Flint got a kill about the same time, so now it's 2 on 2, and they've split each evenly, so there's one of the Darkets is after me and one of them's after Flint, so this is now just a normal Darket shooting exercise like we've had in all the previous missions. And much like in the previous missions, I'm setting my throttle to 0 for head-to-heads and then not quite hitting the Darket dead centre, and therefore not doing any damage, which is why my arrow no longer has any front armour left. The other thing you'll notice I'm not doing is using any afterburner fuel. There's a couple of engagements in which I'm actually going to need burners in this mission, and you have pretty limited supplies in Wing Commander 3. It's not like Standoff where I've got a ton of it and can also save fuel by pulsing the burners. That doesn't work in Wing 3 because your acceleration is far too slow. So the afterburners are basically being conserved until we're facing better fighters than Darkets. Flint's more or less killed this one, but I'm just going to kill Steel here. Second wave is a pair of Dralfi. They will also pair off and do one-on-ones. They can both gang up on you, and if they do, that's normally very annoying because it means you're going to have to evade 4 image recognition missiles. Fortunately, this one doesn't even seem interested in launching his missiles, so it wasn't particularly difficult to kill. I'm definitely getting better at Dralfi Zotting though. Evasion patterns they take are not so much predictable, but you can tell when it is they're going to do lots of twists and turns, and it's not really worth shooting them when they'll be flying roughly straight and you can more or less kill them. Like so. And while we were doing that, Flint's got this one well in hand, lost shields on 3 facings, and is probably taking a fair bit of damage, so I shall swoop in and see if I can steal her kill again. My kill-stealing tendencies here are, of course, entirely Avanton's fault, because I'm instantly in a competition to see if I can get more kills in Wing Commanders Standoff 3 and 4 than he managed in 1 and 2 and their expansions, but that's a side issue. Anyway, we're now off to the next nav point, having linked up autopilot with the transport, which I cut out doing because it's a pain. And at this nav point is another reason that we had to save afterburner fuel. The Dralfi are, of course, something we'll need afterburners, or certainly 1 afterburners to kill, but the real problem is the Corvette.
Break and attack.
Taking it to him.
You might be slightly surprised to hear me say that, because I'm normally somewhat disdainful of Corvettes, but this one has just launched a Skipper missile, which needs killing. Like so. That was somewhat fortunate. If I had my guns firing at slightly different intervals, I could well have collided with that missile. but as it was, that worked rather well. If you don't get it before it cloaks, and it was about to cloak there, then it will carry on and you have to chase it back towards your transport. It goes slightly faster than an arrow not using afterburner. Chasing it without using your burners isn't that bad an idea. Then you can shoot it down. If you don't shoot it down, you get one more chance when it decloaks before it will hit the transport, and if it hits the transport, it takes it down in one shot and its mission failed. Anyway, the Corvette won't launch another skipper, so it's just these Drouthy. For now, we don't have to worry about the Corvette itself. That won't get in range with its guns. So we got the first one there with the usual combination of missiles and gunfire. Anti-Drouthy missiles always seem to hit the wings. If an image recognition missile does hit the Drouthy's engine rather than its wings, it will take it down with that single shot, but I haven't found a way to reliably do that, unfortunately. So, missile. That one was remarkably easy to get rid of. Image recognition missiles are normally very hard to decoy away. Drop a decoy, usually the missile loses you for a couple of seconds and then reacquires you, which is incredibly irritating, especially because, you know, quite often it's 2 Drouthy, 4 Drouthy launching these missiles all at once. In the hardest mission in the game, I think there's bombing of 6 Drouthy, which is not a good thing. Now, I don't think I got that kill, I think Flint got that kill, but she didn't claim it. On the other hand, there's one later which I reckon I did get and she claimed, so all in all it worked out. So we're onto the Corvette now. It's just the same as the previous Corvette. One thing I didn't mention about the last one is that the Corvette has 5 turrets, 4 lasers with the red lines and a tachyon turret, which is the grey one. Now, those turrets are destructible, but the only one you really care about is the tachyon, and that's at the back of the Corvette. The back is the side, between the engines, and that flash there was it going up. And that's extremely useful, because basically now we don't have to worry about return fire. The Corvette doesn't have enough firepower to cause the arrow to worry. Still take our shields down a bit, but if we ever lose, you know, we get 3 or 4 hits in a row, we can just back off without any danger of another hit actually doing any damage, because lasers need a lot of hits to do any damage. That's part of the problem with the arrow. Unfortunately, Corvettes take a disturbingly long time to kill. One of the reasons why some people would prefer the Thunderbolt on this mission, but it's certainly not necessary. If you have tolerance for Corvette strafing, then the arrow is certainly the fighter of choice for the rest of it. The 3-on-1 in the Thunderbolt's a lot more difficult than a 3-on-1 and an arrow.
Bogies in sight.
And as for chasing skippers,
Break and attack.
Taking it to him.
you'd have to use a lot more afterburner to chase it down in a Thunderbolt. So this is our final fight of the mission. We've got a pair of Darkits, and then we've got another pair of Darkits that will come around after we've killed these 2. And, well, what can I say about a pair of Darkits that I haven't said already? I've got 4 missiles, so it's 1 for each of them, though unfortunately some of them do miss, so this takes a bit longer than I'd like it to. The Darkits themselves are beginning to launch missiles now, but Darkits are equipped with heat-seeking missiles, and as I explained back in Mission 2, heat-seekers are pretty useless. They need engines to lock onto, so you can break a heat-seeker's lock just by turning towards them. Dropping a decoy almost always fools them. They're nothing to worry about unless you decide to play chicken with them and not evade right now because you want to finish off shooting at whatever it is you're shooting at. Then you always seem to find out that whatever launched the missile was right behind you and you get hit straight away. Conversely, when you did decide to break off to evade, like now, the fighter was sufficiently far away that you could have stayed ground and shot stuff for a bit longer. Murphy's Law applies in 27th century. So the transport has jumped out if you forgot we were escorting a transport because neither of these Darkits decided to go after it. Again, I could run home now, but I have too much pride to run away from Darkits no matter how annoying they are, so we're staying around to kill them. Eventually I'll start shooting straight at them. Flint already has. Strangely enough, the kill board, when I got back, didn't actually acknowledge Flint as having got any kills at all. How? I didn't realise how bad a situation my shields were in there. You'll notice the little spider web in the windscreen next to my speed indicator. I think that's a bit silly, because presumably any damage to the canopy like that would likely result in slight problems with the pressure differential on either side of it, given that I'm guessing there's atmosphere inside this arrow and not outside of it. See, that was the kill that Flint claimed that I think I got. But yeah, the kill board, as I was saying, doesn't actually give her credit for any kills at the end of this mission, and I really don't know why that is. I thought that the game made up the numbers for everybody who wasn't your wingman based on what you got, but your wingman it actually counted, but it doesn't seem to have done that, so presumably it just makes them all up. Flint theoretically gets the fewest kills because she's the most cautious pilot, but on Nightmare I tend to think she's the best because she tends to hold off firing her missiles until she's more or less certain she's going to hit with them, so the number of kills she gets is much higher as a result, I tend to think. Anyway, speaking of hits with missiles, we have one left. It doesn't decide to play ball dealing with this last fighter. At least not initially, then it finally does. Missiles do very strange things in Wing Commander 3. Sometimes they'll go right up to a target and then go off at 45 degrees. The missile code could have been much better implemented. Almost everything about them is wrong, including that they're far too small.
Need clearance, TCS Victory.
Good news, Colonel. As soon as you land, we're jumping to the Tomeo system, which is reported to be kitty-free. And we got the cush job of assisting with the Excalibur test flights.
So, there we are. Rollins is croaking at us, and we are done with this mission. We got 7 kills, and the arrow is slightly shot up, but Rachel has to have something to do, right? Anyway, thanks for watching. I've been Alanin, this has been Wing Commander 3, Heart of the Tiger, and I'll see you next time for our first combat scramble.
Pretty slick flying, sir.
Thanks, Chief.